Hello everyone. Welcome to the virtual class of Liquidators accounts. In previous session, I have discussed one of the important question related to classification of creditors into different categories. And this particular question was one of the most important variety of the chapter because classification of creditors will be playing an important role while solution of this chapter. Today, in this lecture, I would like to discuss a full length question of the chapter. Let us refer the question first. Maharaja Limited went into voluntary liquidation on 31st December 2020. The balance sheet as on that date was as follows. A balance sheet is available to you in horizontal format. Liabilities, amount, assets, amount. 12% preference share capital fully paid, rupees 2 lakhs. X equity shares 4,000, each of rupees 50, rupees 25 per share, rupees 1 lakh. Y equity shares 8,000, each of rupees 20, rupees 8 paid up per share, total 64,000. Z equity shares 4,000, each of rupees 10, rupees 6 paid up per share. 12% debentures, rupees 2 lakhs, and creditors of the company, rupees 5 lakhs 60,000. On asset side of the balance sheet, we have goodwill for rupees 32,000, land and building for rupees 8 lakhs, investment rupees 70,000, stock 2 lakhs 32,000, cash and bank balance 12,000, and last but not least, furniture rupees 2,000. Total of the balance sheet on both the sides 11 lakhs 48,000. Refer the additional information given as a part of the question. Creditors of the company includes a loan secured by the charge of investments for rupees 1 lakh and amount of provident fund for rupees 60,000. This information is most important information for all of us because here creditors are given to us in a consolidated form on the liability side of the balance sheet as rupees 5 lakhs 60,000. But as per the information, creditors of the company includes two different items. First, a loan secured by the charge of investment for rupees 1 lakh. It means the company has taken a loan of rupees 1 lakh with the mortgage of the investment. So this loan is referred to as secured loan. But here this information is not given to us in our balance sheet. It is given to us separately. Second, assets realized as under land and building rupees 6 lakhs 80,000, investments rupees 80,000, stock rupees 2 lakhs 36,000, and furniture rupees 4 lakhs. Number 3, liquidator is entitled to receive 2% remuneration on amounts realized from the assets except cash and bank balance, and 1% remuneration on unsecured creditors. Next and last, the debenture holders were paid on 31st March 2021. Liquidation expenses amounted to rupees 19,200. Prepare the liquidator's final statement of account. Now, concentrate on this information. Total creditors are given on the liability side of the company is rupees 5,60,000. As per the information given to us in additional information number 1, these creditors includes a loan secured by the charge of investment for rupees 1 lakh and amount of provident fund for rupees 60,000. If you refer second information very properly, you can easily find that the liquidator has realized rupees 80,000 by selling the investment. It means the loan secured by the investment is of rupees 1 lakh, but the liquidator has realized rupees 80,000 only by selling the investment. Now, it is our first and foremost duty to classify the creditors into different categories, because in the given question, remuneration is also based on unsecured creditors. So, if we are not able to classify our creditors in a proper way, it is very much difficult for us to solve the problem. So, let us classify the creditors properly. For the classification of creditors, it is necessary for you to understand the calculation made over here. Total creditors of the company as per the information given on liability side of the balance sheet, 5,60,000. As per the additional information number 1, these creditors include loan secured by the charge of investment, 1 lakh. Then provident fund, rupees 60,000. So out of these 5,60,000 available to us as total creditors, 1 lakh rupees charge on investment and amount of provident fund is rupees 60,000. So in this situation, amount of other creditors will be 4 lakhs. How to find these 4 lakhs? It's a very simple. Total 5,60,000 minus 1 lakh rupees secured creditor and provident fund 60,000, that is preferential creditor. So 5,60,000 minus 1 lakh minus 60,000 is equal to remaining amount other creditors. Now focus on item number 2. As per the information given to us in additional information number 2, rupees 80,000 realized for investment. The amount of loan is rupees 1 lakh. But when we have sold our investment, we have realized rupees 80,000 only. It means out of rupees 1 lakh, rupees 80,000 is secured, because we could realize 80,000 rupees out of the investment. So what about remaining 20,000? We have to pay rupees 1 lakh for this loan. But by selling the investment, we have received rupees 80,000 only. We have already discussed these kind of transactions earlier. So these 80,000 is secured. But what about remaining 20,000? So remaining 20,000 will be part of unsecured creditors. So total unsecured creditors 4 lakhs rupees mentioned over here, and 20,000 rupees, that is unpaid amount of the loan. So total unsecured creditors will be 4 lakhs 20,000. So if you understand this information very precisely, you can say that out of these 1 lakh, 80,000 is secured, 60,000 will be preferential creditors, and rupees 4 lakhs 20,000 will be referred to as unsecured creditors of the company. So after classification of the creditors into different categories, let us move to the solution of the problem. Let us start with the receipt side of liquidator's final statement of receipts and payment. Cash or bank balance. As per the information given on the asset side of the balance sheet, the bank balance is rupees 12,000. Then assets realized rupees 10 lakhs. Refer working note number 1 in order to understand the assets realized. Land and building, we have realized rupees 6 lakhs 80,000. Stock 2 lakhs 36,000. Investment 80,000. Don't forget, in this question, the liquidator has realized rupees 80,000 from investment and paid to the creditors of the loan. So rupees 80,000 received by the liquidator by selling investment is rupees 80,000, and by selling furniture he has realized rupees 4,000. So total asset realized by the liquidator of the company is rupees 10 lakhs. That we have recorded on receipt side of the statement. Assets realized 10 lakhs. As you all know, we need to pay to our creditors in a logical sequence suggested by the law. The first priority is always related to secured creditors and workman's salary, that is a worker's salary or any amount payable to the worker. In this question, secured creditors by investments are given for 1 lakh, but as per our discussion, we can pay them 80,000 rupees as secured creditors. Even though the amount is 1 lakh for the loan, but this loan is secured by the investment and investment realized rupees 80,000 only. It means out of 1 lakh, 80,000 is secured and remaining 20,000 already transferred to unsecured creditors. Second item, liquidators expenses and remuneration. For the calculation of liquidators expenses, we need not to do anything because 19,200 is given by the examiner in a ready-made form. But we need to calculate liquidators remuneration. Let us move to working note number 2. Before calculation of liquidators remuneration, I would like to repeat an important point that we have discussed in last lecture. If remuneration is charged on unsecured creditors, it means that it is chargeable on unsecured creditors along with the preferential creditors. It means if nothing is written with unsecured creditors, then we need to pay remuneration to the liquidator on unsecured creditors as well as preferential creditors, because preferential creditors are basically unsecured in nature, but they are given priority because of the provisions of the law. But if the remuneration is charged on unsecured creditors, into bracket, excluding preferential creditors, it means at the time of calculation of remuneration on unsecured creditors, we have to exclude, we have to eliminate preferential creditors. In this situation, the remuneration is calculated on unsecured creditors only, not on preferential creditors. Before calculation of liquidators remuneration, it should be clear in your mindset. If you want to refer the information given by the examiner in the question, you can check it very carefully. Now, in this question, liquidators remuneration is based on unsecured creditors. No additional informations are given by the examiner. It means the remuneration is payable on unsecured creditors along with preferential creditors. And let us calculate the liquidators remuneration. 2% on assets realized. Assets realized by the liquidator, rupees 10 lakhs. Rate of remuneration on assets realized by the liquidator is 2%. So 2% of rupees 10 lakhs. So the amount of remuneration is 20,000. 1% on preferential creditors. As per our discussion, preferential creditors are of rupees 60,000. The liquidator's remuneration is 1%. So on 60,000, 1% remuneration is payable to the liquidator. So the amount of remuneration on preferential creditor is rupees 600 and 1% on unsecured creditors, 4,20,000. We have completed calculation of unsecured creditors before starting the solution of this problem. If you classify the creditors very properly, believe me, you can score marks in full. 4,20,000 into 1% is equal to 4,200. Total 24,800. Now enter this 24,800 on payment side of liquidator's statement. Liquidator's remuneration 24,800. After making payment to liquidator's expenses and remuneration, now it is a time to pay amount to preferential creditors. As per the information given to us in additional information, we have preferential creditors in form of provident fund. For this, separate calculation is not required because one and only item is given for preferential creditors. So I have mentioned in the bracket provident fund, and the amount of provident fund is rupees 60,000. Now it is time to pay creditors with floating charges like debenture holders. For the purpose of finding the amount payable or paid to debenture holders, we need to prepare a separate working note. And working note number 3, payment to debenture holders. Right from the very first question of the chapter, to mention this note, just to recall the rule. If the company is solvent, that is financially sound, we need to pay interest till the date of payment. If it is insolvent, then it is paid till the date of winding up. Here we are capable enough to pay all the liabilities. So principal amount of debentures rupees 2 lakhs. As per the additional information, payment made to debenture holders on 31st March 2021. The date of the balance sheet is 31st December 2020. The date of the payment is 31st March 2021. So there is a gap between these two dates, the date of balance sheet and the date of payment. So we need to pay additional interest to the debenture holders. Face value or principal amount of the debentures rupees 2 lakhs. Rate of interest on debentures 12%, and interest is payable for the additional period of 3 months, that is from 31st December to 31st March 2021. So interest for this period would be 6,000, and a total amount paid to debenture holders rupees 2 lakhs 6,000. We are habited to calculate payment to debenture holders right from the very first question. So nothing is new in this calculation. We have to enter 2 lakh 6,000 on payment side of liquidator's final statement of receipts and payment. Then unsecured creditors. We have already completed calculation of unsecured creditors earlier. From this calculation, you can easily find out the figures of unsecured creditors. Total amount of unsecured creditors is rupees 4 lakhs 20,000. So, without wasting a moment, we can pay 4 lakhs 20,000 to the creditors of the company. Now, creditors are over for all the categories. We have already paid secured creditors, we have paid liquidators expenses and remuneration, we have paid amount to preferential creditors, we have even discharged liability towards creditors with floating charges like debenture holders, we have also paid amount to unsecured creditors, and now it is time to pay amount to preference shareholders of the company. There is no information regarding a payment of dividend or dividend in arrears or anything else. So they are entitled to get principal amount from the company. So we have paid rupees 2 lakhs to preference shareholders of the company. Now let us move to the most important calculation, because we have three different types of equity shareholders, and when more than one type of equity shareholders are associated with the company, it is necessary for us to calculate the capital deficiency. We need to distribute capital deficiency among different categories of the shareholders, and we need to settle our account with them in a equity basis, that is on equality basis, without any kind of bias. Let us move to calculation of capital deficiency. We have already completed this kind of discussions in earlier questions, so it is nothing more than repetition of the calculation. Total receipts. The company has balance of rupees 12,000 in its account. 10 lakhs rupees realized from the asset. So assets realized rupees 10 lakhs, and amount available with the company as a cash balance rupees 12,000. So total amount available with the company 10 lakhs 12,000 less the payment made by company to the different stakeholder. If you refer payment side of liquidators final statement of account, you will come to know about these informations. 80,000 rupees paid to secured creditors, 19,200 rupees paid to liquidation expenses, 24,800 to liquidators as his remuneration on asset as well as on unsecured creditors. We have paid 60,000 rupees to preferential creditors for provident fund, 2 lakhs 6,000 to debenture holders with their interest, 4 lakhs 20,000 rupees paid to unsecured creditors of the company, preference shareholders rupees 2 lakhs, and still we have to pay amount to equity shareholders X rupees 1 Y rupees 64,000 and Z rupees 24,000. It means if company would like to discharge all the liabilities and to pay amount in full to equity shareholders, then the company is in need of rupees 11 lakhs 98,000. On the other hand, the company has total receipt of rupees 10 lakhs 12,000. Total amount required 11 lakhs 98,000. So the amount of difference 1 lakh 86,000 is referred to as capital deficiency. Now we need to distribute capital deficiency among different categories of shareholders. Type X, Y and Z. Refer liability side of the balance sheet. You will easily find the number of equity shares issued for each category. X 4,000 numbers of shares issued, Y 8,000 numbers of shares issued, and Z 4,000 numbers of equity shares issued by the company. Face value 50 rupees, 20 rupees and 10 rupees. If you refer liabilities of the balance sheet very carefully, you can find the amount of face value of each type of equity shares. So, total share capital of the company for type X, 4,000 shares multiplied by 50 rupees, so total 2 lakhs. 8,000 shares multiplied by 20 rupees, so 1 lakh 60,000. And 4,000 shares multiplied by face value 10, 40,000. This information is highly useful to us in order to decide distribution ratio. So distribution ratio, just cancel 3 zeros. So remaining amount 200, 160 and 40. Now in the table of 40, everything is included. 40 ones are 40, 40 fours are 160 and 45s are 200. So the ratio of distribution is 5:4:1. And capital deficiency that we have completed just before a moment, 1,86,000, would be distributed to all three varieties of equity shareholders in the ratio of 5:4:1. 1,86,000, 5 by 10. So capital deficiency for X equity shares 93,000. 1,86,000 multiplied by 4 by 10. So capital deficiency for Y equity shares 74,400. And 1,86,000 1 by 10 for last category Z 18,600. In this way, we can distribute our capital deficiency among different categories of equity shareholders. This is one of the most important calculation of the topic. Let us move to the last step, and it is all about final settlement with the equity shareholders. Type of shares X. Refer liability side of the balance sheet. You will find 1 lakh rupees as a paid up capital from type X. We have completed a calculation of capital deficiency in earlier stage, and capital deficiency contributed to equity shareholders X is rupees 93,000. Their capital is rupees 1 lakh. Against to these 1 lakh, they have to suffer a loss of rupees 93,000. It means rupees 7,000 returned to equity shareholders X. Y paid up capital of Y is rupees 64,000. Capital deficiency transferred to the account of type Y shareholders 74,400. Their capital is 64,000, but their loss is 74,400. It means they have to bring 10,400 rupees in the company. So what is the role of liquidator? The liquidator will receive or call rupees 10,400 from equity shareholders. Why? And last, Z. Paid up capital for Z is rupees 24,000. Capital deficiency for Z is rupees 18,600. It means their capital is rupees 24,000, but they have to face a loss of rupees 18,600. Here, capital is more than that of the amount of loss. So, the difference of rupees 5,400 returned to the shareholders Z. So, what happened at the end of final settlement? A liquidator will pay 7,000 rupees to X, 5,400 rupees to Z, and liquidator will call or liquidator will receive 10,400 rupees from shareholder Y. I hope everybody is clear with the calculation mentioned over here. After final settlement with the equity shareholders, let us complete our account. And in liquidator's final statement, we have to insert the figure in order to wind up. We have to pay 7,000 rupees to equity shareholders X that we have paid. We have to pay 5,400 rupees to equity shareholders Y that we have paid. And the liquidator will receive 10,400 rupees from equity shareholders Y. So payment to X 7,000, payment to Z 5,400, and received from Y 10,400. And at the end of the solution, the total of liquidator's final statement of receipts and payments will be 10,22,400. If you carefully analyze all the details given in the question, it is very easy for you to solve these kind of question. I hope everybody is clear with the solution of this problem. Keep watching the next sessions. Thank you. God bless you.